I was not good enough, I was not talented enough, was worried about losing my job if I was to ever have kids, and did some dodgy stuff. Hello everyone, my name is Claire. Hope you're having a good week so far. So you might be wondering what the tape is on my face. I just came back from Mother's Day Classic Run, and it's essentially, it happens every year. They just raise funds to support research in breast cancer. If you're ever around for that next year, I'd love it if you would join me. Yay, that would be cool. Yeah. Anyways, so a little backstory. I've been a graphic designer for 6 years, or maybe a little bit more than that. I started off working in a small startup company. I think it was only for a few months, but after that I was able to land a part-time role in a small signage company. This signage company was very nice at the beginning. It was a very small company, and to give you a little bit of context into how small it is, when I went on board, I was the junior designer. There was another person that was a senior designer, and then my manager was kind of like the design manager, and she owns that company along with the husband who manages the signage company downstairs. It was a very toxic workplace. Obviously, I was still trying to learn things because, you know, being out of uni, not having a proper graphic design job. I knew how to use the programs, but I didn't know how to use it in a working environment. So there were a lot of times when I would work and I would get yelled at by my manager saying that it's not right, and you know, it's pretty much shit. And the thing was, when you would go to her just to see if you're going on the right track, she would yell at you again, saying that she doesn't have time, you know, deal with it. She basically wanted us to read her mind. Now, there was a few things that happened that really made me question my own abilities. For the longest time, I started to believe that, you know, my designs were pretty bad and that I couldn't do anything outside of this company. When I transitioned from part-time to full-time, you know, she gave me a contract of 50k AUD, by the way. So she said that, you know, I'm giving you the best offer. If you go somewhere else, you won't find anything as good as this. And for the longest time, I believed her. I lasted there for 2 years, surprisingly. She also made me believe that when I got married, she had pretty much a sit down with me, essentially implying that if I were to have kids, they would kind of look for someone else, essentially, to replace me. What? What the fuck? There was one time where they didn't want to pay for asbestos training for one of the workers downstairs. Basically, someone downstairs, her husband, had an asbestos card training thing, like a certificate or license. A license, yeah, that's the word. So he had a license, and she basically said, hey Claire, I have a Photoshop job for you. I need you to put this person's name on this card. I went to my coworker and then I asked, hey, is this legal? I don't feel good about this. I guess at the time we were all living in fear. We were all living in fear of us losing our jobs. If I tell her that, look, what we're doing isn't right, I don't feel comfortable about this. We were really living in fear to the point where we thought that she would just flip it back saying, no, that's not what we're doing, you know, or you're fired.
You're fired.
I think the final straw was when she said that she had a job for me. I'm doing this truck signage and she submits that job, and then I find out later on that it was actually for a competition. And so she's telling me, she's like saying, oh, you know, the job that we did back a few months ago, they liked our design. They're tossing up between your design and my design. Like, she made a design as well. She said, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll see what they say. I end up finding out that my design won. My manager and her husband, they ended up winning that contest and benefiting from that. So they were able to get a all expense paid to go to Italy. I think they got 10K or so. They got some money, spending money from it. Anyways, I pretty much started looking for jobs, and the first job that I went to, they were offering less than 50K, 45K or something. And I thought, oh, I'm sure that anything will be better than this place, this current place right now. But I went to a different place and did an interview there, and I was so lucky that they liked me well enough to hire me. It was really funny because one of the last interview questions that they had for me was, do you have any questions for us? And I blanked out and I was like, how are you today? And yeah, they laughed and I was like, oh, good one, Claire. I blanked out in that moment, but they liked it apparently. So yeah, and now I'm well over in terms of salary. If I had believed that I would only be stuck at 50K, or if I had believed that boss lady person that I would never find anything better than that place, I probably would still be there, despite the constant verbal abuse. I remember when I resigned, it was not a good day. You know, I had my paper ready. I said that I was going to resign within two to three, I think it was 3 weeks. I was like, no, I don't want to leave on bad terms. I'll help out still. So anyways, when I went into her office, I asked like, hey, can I have a chat with you? And she's like, okay. So then I went in and then I closed the door and then I said, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but and then she cut me off and then started yelling at me saying she doesn't have time for this and all that stuff. And she said to just give me the letter or something like that. I don't know. She didn't even ask whether I'm okay, whether I had medical issues, because I guess at the time my health was also deteriorating. So she yelled at me. I went back into the other room. I needed to hold back my tears because obviously I was still at work. And then her daughter came in and then her and her daughter had to leave. So then she was like to me, okay, Claire, you're okay to lock up, right? And I said, yeah, it's okay. So then she left, cried, like lots of tears. My coworker was just shocked and upset for me. And then I got up and I went to her room and I got the piece of paper that was my resignation and I tore it up and I printed out a new one saying I'm leaving earlier. I guess if she hadn't had done that, I would have stayed a bit longer, but thankfully I was able to leave. Anyways, I'm in a good place now. I guess I stayed in that place for too long. 2 whole years, too long. And I believe that I was not good enough. I was not talented enough or creative enough. I basically was worried about losing my job if I was to ever have kids and did some dodgy stuff. Again, I was under a lot of stress. If I had kept believing all of that, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, I make way over than what she was giving me. This new current place gives me a lot of encouragement and support. I love what I do now. I love the people, I love the culture. My manager is really great, and that's what gives me so much drive and motivation after work to be able to do what I love to do, which is illustrations and anything art related. You know, if I had believed that I wasn't good enough or creative enough or talented enough, I wouldn't have been able to, you know, sell boards. I created a mural. That was my first ever mural. I was able to start up my own shop this year, and yeah, at the same time, I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of you wonderful people. So thank you. We are all capable of doing amazing things. And with that, hope you have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!